Oh yeah, this is perfect for Shedeur Sanders. Rookie, first round draft pick wide receiver Concepcion means business. He sent a strong message to the Browns and everybody in the building. He is ready to dominate. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, hype the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. We have to get right into things. Concepcion has been putting in the work during the break. Okay.
Eyes closed, ball in hand, and somehow still hitting his target. That's the video that broke the internet this week. Not a highlight from Sunday, not a press conference soundbite, just a quarterback alone on a field, throwing with his eyes shut, like he already knows exactly where everyone's going to be before they even move. And for a franchise that's been starving for something to believe in, that one clip said more than any stat sheet ever could. Because this isn't just about a throwing session anymore. This is about a rookie who refuses to let anybody outwork him. This is about a locker room quietly choosing a side. And this is about a city that's been burned before, trying to decide if it's finally safe to hope again. Shedeur Sanders didn't ask to be the center of a quarterback controversy. He didn't ask for the cameras following his every rep, or the internet dissecting every workout clip like it's game film. But that's what happens when you walk into a building carrying a name, a legacy, and a whole fan base's last shred of patience. From the moment he arrived in Cleveland, the noise never stopped. Too flashy, too confident, not enough NFL reps under his belt. The critics lined up fast, and they didn't hold back. Some said he'd never see the field. Others said he was already washed before he threw a single NFL pass. That's the kind of pressure most 20-something-year-olds crumble under. Shedeur didn't crumble. He got to work. And that's where the story actually starts to get interesting. Because while the noise was swirling outside, something else was happening quietly on the inside. Teammates started talking, not to reporters, to each other, about the way this kid moves, about how many reps he's putting in before anyone else even shows up.
He's ready to do his thing and live up to his draft slot. This is big for Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. Now, Ken Carmen and Anthony Lima broke down the latest in the QB battle with Shedeur and Deshaun.
Are not resting on their laurels, Kenny. Based on social media, our quarterbacks are #grinding. And I love to see it. And it tells me that we could be in for a big year.
That's the power Shedeur Sanders carries right now. Not because of what he's done on an NFL field yet, because he hasn't taken a real regular season snap, but because of what people believe he's capable of. And that's the tension at the center of this whole story. On one side, you've got analysts saying he's overhyped, saying the 5th-round fall was the league's honest evaluation, saying game managers don't win in this era of football. On the other side, you've got teammates, coaches, and now former players like Tyvis Powell saying the tape doesn't match the noise, that this kid processes information like a veteran, protects the football, and does exactly what winning quarterbacks do. Somewhere between those two extremes is the truth, and Cleveland is about to find out which one it is, in real time, under the brightest lights in football. If you're locked into this story the way I am, go ahead and hit subscribe, because this quarterback battle is about to define an entire era of Cleveland football, and you don't want to miss where it goes next. So, where does this actually go from here? Training camp will tell the first real chapter of this story. Every rep gets charted, every read gets graded, every interception, every 3rd down conversion, every 2-minute drill. It all builds a case one way or the other.
This is setting up. Todd Monken has clearly planted that seed that you guys, gentlemen, are in a competition. Get out there, close your eyes, throw some passes, work out, hustle, work out, grind, work out, lunch, work out, dinner, work out.
None of this is real.
Go to the D3 schools, work out some more. Have Jim Tressel come and hang out.
What's the matter with the D3 school going to work out? It's right down the street.
I saw them both of them.
On the same field?
On the same field. Are they together?
I didn't know they were on the same field.
Which brings us to the man who might understand Shedeur's journey better than almost anyone else in that building. Jim Tressel, a coaching legend, a mentor who's seen quarterbacks rise and fall for decades, and someone who's now quietly become part of Shedeur's offseason routine. There's something different about watching a young quarterback seek out that kind of wisdom voluntarily. Nobody made Shedeur drive out for those extra sessions. Nobody forced him to sit and learn from someone who's already lived through the pressure of being under a microscope. He chose it. And in a league full of players chasing shortcuts, that choice says everything about who he actually is when the cameras aren't rolling. But mentorship only gets you so far. Eventually, you have to show up in front of the people who actually make the decisions, and that's where Andrew Barry comes into the story. Barry didn't build this roster by accident. Every move, every draft pick, every free agent signing has been part of a bigger plan. A plan that puts Cleveland back in contention, not just for one season, but for years to come. And somewhere in that plan, there's a decision waiting to be made about who leads this offense into the future. Barry hasn't tipped his hand publicly. He doesn't have to. But you don't invest draft capital, coaching resources, and a full offseason program into a rookie quarterback unless you believe he's part of that long-term picture. And it's not just the front office paying attention. Voices from inside the locker room have started speaking up too. Tyvis Powell, a name Brown stands know and trust, recently went public about why he believes Shedeur genuinely fits this team's long-term vision. Not as a project, not as a developmental afterthought, as a real answer at the most important position on the field. That kind of endorsement matters. It's easy to dismiss outside noise as hype. It's a lot harder to dismiss support coming from someone who's actually inside the building, watching the work happen every single day.
Deshaun Watson, I haven't seen him present a gift yet to Todd Monken the way Shedeur did.
I don't think he would want that. It would probably mix it up even more. Let me point this out. It's not a public vote. If it were a public vote, Shedeur Sanders would win in a landslide. He would have 80% of the vote. Because you would have 20% that might go to Deshaun Watson, except 10% don't like either of them, so they would just abstain.
Which brings us back to the man calling the shots on that offense, Todd Monken. Monken hasn't said much publicly. He doesn't need to. His silence is doing a lot of the talking. Every rep, every practice period, every quiet observation from the sideline is part of a decision he's building toward, one that won't be rushed, no matter how loud the outside voices get. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. None of the workout videos matter to him. Not the eyes-closed throws, not the highlight reel stacking up on social media. What matters to Monken is whether a quarterback can read a defense in real time, adjust at the line, and put this team in position to win games that actually count. That's the separator, not flash, command. And that's exactly why this next stretch of the offseason means so much. Every practice rep between now and the season is a chance for Shedeur to prove this isn't just about talent, it's about ownership. Ownership of the huddle, ownership of the offense, ownership of a locker room that's watching every move he makes. There's a moment, if you watch closely enough, where you can see it starting to shift. Veteran players who once stayed neutral are starting to gravitate toward him. Receivers are running extra routes after practice ends, staying out there because they want to build that timing, that trust, that chemistry that shows up on Sundays when everything's on the line. That's not something you can coach. That's something you earn. And Shedeur has been earning it, rep by rep, sunrise by sunrise, all off-season long. If you're invested in seeing how this quarterback battle actually plays out, hit that subscribe button because we're going to be here for every twist between now and kickoff.
And you could throw a frozen rope. I mean, we had Brandon Whedon here who was hitting clay pigeons and doing all the parlor tricks there. But when it comes to reading the defense, what did Brandon Whedon do? That's right, Jack, you know what. So when it comes to all this stuff, it doesn't matter, Anthony.
But Shedeur, it's not even about reading defenses now because Shedeur's eyes are closed. And if you can do that with your eyes closed, I mean,
his eyes are closed in the video?
5 of 5 at the bottom of the video.
Yeah. His eyes are closed in one of the videos?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. You've got to see it.
So if he's able, think about that. If he's able to get to the line of scrimmage process.
Of course, none of this erases the doubts. There are still questions about consistency, about whether the flashes we've seen in these controlled settings will translate under real pressure, with a real pass rush, in a stadium full of 80,000 people who won't be patient if things go wrong early. That's the gap between potential and proof, and it's a gap Shedeur knows he still has to close. But here's what's different this time. He's not walking into that gap alone. He's got a mentor who's already lived through this kind of pressure. He's got teammates starting to rally behind him. He's got a front office that built this roster with a long-term vision in mind. And he's got a version of himself that shows up to work before the sun's even up, chasing something most people will never fully understand unless they've felt that same hunger themselves. Maybe that's the real story here. Not the eyes-closed throws, not the 4-a-day workout sessions, not even the quarterback competition itself. Maybe it's about a young player who keeps choosing to do the work nobody's forcing him to do, because deep down, he knows exactly what's waiting for him if he doesn't. Cleveland has waited a long time for something real to believe in. Not hype, not promises, something earned. And whether that belief gets fully rewarded this season or not, one thing is already clear. Shedeur Sanders isn't backing down from this moment. He's chasing it. Every single day. Eyes open or closed. It doesn't seem to matter to him anymore. This story is far from over. And when the answer finally comes, you're going to want to see exactly how it unfolded.